My name is Jack Smurl, and I've always seen myself as just an ordinary guy. I work as a production manager at a chewing gum factory, a job I've dedicated over 2 decades of my life to. My wife, Janet, is the rock of our family. She's been deeply involved in our community, particularly with the Lioness Club, where she even served as president for 2 years. We lived in West Pittston, Pennsylvania, a quiet, unassuming town where life is generally peaceful and predictable. Our home is a duplex, which holds a special place in my heart, reminiscent as it is of my childhood home. This familiarity was one reason we chose to raise our 4 daughters here: Dawn, Heather, Shannon, and Karen, alongside our faithful German Shepherd, Simon. Living with us in the other half of the duplex are my parents, Mary and John Smurl. My dad's a bit hard of hearing and a deep sleeper, traits that often brought a sense of humor to our family interactions. My mom, ever the attentive and caring matriarch, has always been the one to keep an eye on everyone in the family. This home, meant to be our sanctuary and a bastion of family memories, unexpectedly became the setting for a series of events that would challenge everything I believed about the world around us. The early signs of paranormal activity in our home were easily dismissed as coincidences or tricks of the mind. One of the first notable incidents was when our kitchen light fixture crashed to the table out of the blue. Then, there were the voices. Janet and I would hear our names being called when no one else was around. These occurrences were unsettling, but nothing prepared us for what was to come. The initial skepticism we had slowly turned into a creeping realization that something truly unexplainable was happening in our home. The strange occurrences began subtly around a year ago and escalated over time. It started with minor incidents, odd noises, feelings of being watched, and the occasional cold spot. Gradually, these anomalies grew more intense. Objects began to move inexplicably, and the atmosphere in the house grew heavy, charged with an unseen presence. The worst of it seemed to climax around the time we contacted the Warrens. It was as if the entity in our home was aware of their impending arrival and was manifesting its power more boldly. As the head of the household, I felt a responsibility to protect my family, yet I was powerless against these unseen forces. One night, lying in bed, I felt a distinct touch on my shoulder, yet there was no one there. This incident brought back a memory from my childhood, where I saw a pair of disembodied eyes in the hallway. The lines between past and present blurred, leaving me questioning the reality of my surroundings. It was a deeply unsettling experience, challenging everything I believed about the physical world. The physical manifestations in our home were perhaps the most terrifying aspect of the haunting. Doors would slam shut without any draft, and items would fly off shelves. Once I watched a chair slide across the floor with no one near it. These incidents defied all logical explanations, and it was these physical manifestations that convinced us we were dealing with something beyond our understanding. The fear that gripped us during these moments was palpable. It was not just the fear of what was happening, but the fear of what could happen next. Our daughters and Simon, our German Shepherd, were not spared from the strange occurrences. The girls would often speak of hearing whispers in their rooms late at night, sounds that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere at once. Shadows would flit across their walls with no discernible source. As a parent, it was heartbreaking to see the fear in my children's eyes. Simon's behavior became increasingly erratic. He would often stare intently at empty corners, growling softly, or suddenly start howling at something invisible. It was distressing to see him so agitated, and it reinforced the feeling that something unseen was lurking in our home. My parents, Mary and John, experienced their share of the bizarre. Objects in their home would move, and they would hear the same unsettling noises we did. They often heard knocks and bangs coming from the walls, and doors would unlock and swing open by themselves. My mother once described seeing a shadowy figure darting past her in the living room, and my father recounted feeling a presence he couldn't explain. These occurrences unnerved them deeply, as they had always been grounded in reality. These experiences created a bond between our two households, a shared journey through the unknown that brought us closer, despite the fear and confusion. The day we reached out to Ed and Lorraine Warren marked a turning point in our lives. For months, our home in Pennsylvania had been a stage for the inexplicable. We were desperate, scared, and frankly, out of options. The Warrens were known for their expertise in dealing with paranormal phenomena, and we hoped they could help us understand the strange occurrences plaguing our family. Their arrival brought a mix of relief and apprehension. It felt like we were finally being taken seriously, yet it also meant acknowledging that our experiences were far from normal. When Lorraine and Ed Warren began their investigation, it felt like a ray of hope. They moved through our home with a sense of purpose, taking notes and speaking softly to each other. Their presence was both reassuring and unnerving. They conducted interviews, gathered our accounts, and observed the house's behavior. The Warrens' approach was methodical, yet there was an air of concern about them that made me realize the severity of our situation. Their validation of our experiences was a relief, but it also confirmed that we were dealing with forces that were beyond our control. Living in a haunted house tests you in ways you can't imagine. We had to find ways to cope with the constant fear and uncertainty. We strengthened our family bond, relying on each other for support. Humor became a refuge. Laughing in the face of our fear helped us maintain a sense of normalcy. We also leaned on our faith, praying for protection and strength. It was a daily struggle, a balance between living a normal life and dealing with the paranormal. We learned to cherish the moments of peace and to face the moments of terror together, as a family united against the unknown. Through all of these experiences, our family learned about resilience, the power of unity, and the strength of the human spirit in the face of the inexplicable. Our story is a testament to the endurance of a family that faced the unknown and emerged stronger, bound together by our shared journey through the unexplained and the unexplainable.